Niko na mori wangu anaitwa Pinto, or that's what we call him. Wengi hata hawajui jina lake. And anytime we are at the Pio Gama Pinto road, he has to take a photo. And it's not just any road, it is where the first of his name, Pio Gama Pinto, was shot dead. It was the first political assassination in Kenya. A shattered dream, a man who had fought not only for Kenya's independence, but for India's too. A man who wished fairness for Kenyans with regards to land matters. This is the story of Pio Gama Pinto.
Pio Gama Pinto, a man described as Kenya's unsung martyr.
Pinto was born in Nairobi on 31st March 1927 to a family of Goan Catholic descent. His father was an official in the colonial government of Kenya, while his mother was a housewife. At 8 years old, he was sent to Goa, India for his education and spent the next 9 years there. He joined the Royal Indian Air Force in 1944 as an apprentice ground engineer. He then took up a job in the Post and Telegraph Office in Bombay, participated in general strikes, and became a founding member of the Goa National Congress, whose aim was the liberation of Goa from the Portuguese rule. Something was being born in him, a fight for equality, a fight for people's independence, something he would do for the rest of his life until his untimely demise. His political activism soon made it necessary for him to return to Kenya to avoid being arrested and deported to the Portuguese Tarrafal concentration camp in Cape Verde. Almost immediately, Pinto became involved in local politics, seeking to overthrow British colonial rule in Kenya. In 1951, he co-founded the East African Indian Congress, a nationalist political party dedicated to building support for independence amongst the South Asian community of Kenya. Pinto, like me, was a journalist and a fierce one, writing for the Colonial Times, Daily Chronicle, and the Oswald. He was also a regular contributor to the International Services of All India Radio, where he produced a popular anti-colonial program named Goan Newsletter. But this activism brought him attention from the British authorities. In 1954, he was rounded up in the notorious Operation Anvil and spent the next 4 years in detention on Manda Island. He was kept in confinement from early 1958 until 1959 October at Kabarnet, but the activism continued. With the forming of Kenya's first party, KANU, Pinto founded the Kenya African National Union newspaper, Sauti ya KANU, and later Pan-African Press. Pinto knew one thing: the easiest way to remove people from comfort was to give them information about the atrocities happening. And to bear fruit, in 1963, Kenya gained independence. And he was not done fighting the colonizers. A year earlier, he had turned his attention to Mozambique, which was still under Portuguese rule, and worked closely with the anti-colonial group Frelimo. In 1963, he was elected a member of the Central Legislative Assembly, and in July 1964, he was appointed a specially elected member of the House of Representatives. He worked to fight for Kenya's rights to fairly access land, and again, this brought him unwanted attention from people in power. And unfortunately, his quest to fight for Kenyan people would see him lose his own life. On 24th February 1965, in the Westlands neighborhood of Parklands in Nairobi, Pinto was shot at close range in the driveway while waiting for the gate to be opened. He was with his daughter in his car at the time of his killing. At just 38 years old, we lost a man whose only message was true independence for people, even after the colonizers had left. But today, as we fight for a better tomorrow, let's take inspiration from him. Information is power. Let's play our part for better days. And as my bro remembers him every time through his acclaimed name or through taking photos at the site of his last moment, let's keep their memories alive.